Switch it up. Switch it up. Flip the script, now they watching us. Every drop go crazy, they ain't stopping us. Live on the mic, get a true hit different. If you want real talk, better switch your vision. Switch it up. Yeah, we built this lane, no gimmicks, no cap. Yeah, we speak that game from the bottom to the top. Now we run that stage, switch it up, podcast, yeah, remember the name. I was building this vision while they sitting there doubting me. Now every time I drop, got them all talking about me. No gimmick, no filter, every line got accountability.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I am your host, Willie Ain't Never Late, and we got a treat for y'all today. This is a blockbuster for our podcast. We have our first politician, and guess what? She one of us. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm about to bring in my boys real fast, my co-hosts, so we can go ahead and do this thing.
I am not the politician. It's not me.
Hey, and guess what? I do approve this podcast.
Vote for me.
Hey, fellas, how we doing?
We good.
Before I start anything for this podcast, I first want to give it up to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, with all of our talents and anything that we do, nothing would be possible. And we want to give a shout out to our t-shirt maker, Busy Hands, Katrina Munger. If you want something, go on Facebook, Busy Hands. She can make anything from the switch it up merchandise to anything that you want. Hit her up. She is legit. She's the bomb. Hey, hit her up, y'all. Now, hey, are y'all ready for this?
No, we're not ready.
How you not gonna be ready for this?
Because we already ready. We've been ready since we was born for this, man.
So I'm gonna bring her a right. Sonia Wimberly.
How are you guys?
Hawkins.
How are you guys?
Hello.
We're doing great.
Good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Just letting our fans know. Tell the fans a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Sonia Wimberly Hawkins. I'm a community advocate, wife, mother, a 26-year resident of Fayette County, Georgia, and I'm running for State Senate District 16. I know you guys introduced me as a politician, but I promise you, I'm not a politician. I'm just an average, ordinary citizen who got mad enough to run. You know, I was already in the community, going to meetings and, representing my county for Democratic Party of Georgia. I'm a member of Fayette County Democrats, but also the Democratic Party of Georgia. And, I serve on committees within DPG, but that wasn't enough, for me.
Okay.
When I looked around and saw everything that was going on, like I felt like the world was imploding since Trump has gotten into office. And
Okay.
I'm looking at the changes in Georgia, and it clicked to me that this has been a plan for a long time, and we've been playing catch up, right?
Correct.
So I got angry enough and said, you know what? I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring and I'm gonna run, especially against my current state senator, who is the incumbent. So that's who I am.
I like it.
Thank you.
So how long have you been in I guess doing what you do?
Wow. Okay. So I have always been civically engaged. I was born and raised in Chicago, South Side.
Whoop, whoop.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Right down.
And a lot of people
Michael Jordan.
a lot of people don't realize that Chicago is politics. It's
Yes.
a democratic stronghold. They call it a democratic machine. And that is mainly due to the fact that during the Great Migration, a lot of people went
Hey,
up north.
Chandra.
Hey, Chandra. A lot of families moved up north to escape Jim Crow. And they got factory jobs and, worked in the stockyards and what have you. A lot of those jobs later became union. So you don't have a union and not be engaged in politics. So just about every job, professional or professional, and whether you work for the phone company or you were a teacher. So my mom was an educator, and I come from a family of educators. So I had no other opportunity or no other option than to be involved or engaged civically. And it started very young. You hear the discussions. People are voting. Do teachers go on strike? What is the union saying about this? You hear about the mayor and the alderman. So it's embedded in you very young, and it's taught to you as early as elementary school. You don't get out of the 8th grade without passing what we call the Constitution test, where
Oh,
you
wow.
have to
Wait,
know.
there's a
Yeah,
test. There's a test.
yeah. It was called the Constitution test. So you had to be able to answer certain questions about
Wow.
amendments. You had to memorize the preamble. You had it was a test on state and local government
That's
because
amazing.
they wanted
That's
to
cool.
ensure that you knew these things. And this was part of Chicago Public Schools curriculum, part of their social studies curriculum. I recently learned that it was removed from schools in the early 2000s. So when I look at the state of voter education and involvement now in comparison to back then,
Okay.
it explains why a lot of people are very misguided when it comes to voting. They don't know. So we struggle really, really bad with educating voters. So one thing that I always say is policy is personal. So a lot of people don't understand that every aspect of your life is affected by policy. You don't get a stoplight, a speed bump, a grocery store without policy.
Okay.
Policy determines, who you elect to that school board. It determines the your property value.
Gotcha.
So
So
that's
that's a lot.
that's how I started. It was embedded in me as a kid. And then you volunteer at certain places, volunteered at Operation Push. They did like a back to school drive. It's just something to do. And you hear things as a child growing up and you just know to be involved, right? So when I went to college in Louisiana, my freshman year, David Duke was running against Governor Edwards. And I don't know if you know who David.
I remember David Duke.
Yeah, he was the Grand Wizard of the KKK. So
Yeah.
part of his campaign, members of his campaign came to our campus and recruited students to go door to door to get people registered to vote or ask them if they needed rides to the polls. And I was one of those students. Hey, do you guys want to come out and, door knock? And so that's what we did. So I was a political science major while I was at Southern University. So it's just always been in me. And I've always been, again, civically engaged. And so it hasn't changed.
So I guess the next question around that would be, how did your family react to you getting into this?
One of my so full disclosure, this was totally reactionary. Like I got really mad. I had probably maybe a year. I was representing Fayette County for DPG.
Okay.
And when you're kind of in those circles, you get the emails that tell you what's going on in the county, within the state, whatever have you. And a PAC sent an email out, and it said, "Would you be interested in running for the Georgia House of Representatives?"
Okay.
Had no intention of running for the Georgia House of Representatives. And as I read the email further, it says something like, these are the number of seats that are uncontested or vacant. And I looked at, it was like maybe 2 lines with the districts on there. And of course, my district wasn't on there because, again, I live in Fayette County and
Right.
people are more engaged. But I got mad. I said, "So y'all gonna just let them take over the House and the Senate? You're not gonna do a quick windmill, a karate kick, nothing?"
Not even a slap. Not even a slap.
Right.
You're not gonna
You just gonna let them have
do
it.
something to them.
Right. Do something like a real smooth windmill.
Right. Just
But nobody.
roundhouse.
Yeah. And when I just looked down the list, I said, "God, dog." I said, "Nobody's running for the House." And then I looked up, of course, my representative,
Mhm.
and I knew who she was. And I looked at my senator, and although I knew who he was at the time, I didn't necessarily know his background. I knew he was a Republican. I knew he was MAGA. But it didn't register to me that he had been in office as long as he had, and that he was the one who co-sponsored the legislation that says you can't, it was, what is it? Senate Bill, I believe 202. And it was from 2021, the Election Integrity Act.
Okay.
He is the guy that co-sponsored that bill. That bill makes it a crime, although a misdemeanor, it's still a crime to pass out water and snacks to people in line. Do you remember when Stacey Abrams was running against?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the polls couldn't close because it was lines out the door, and people had been in all these Black counties. And so different organizations were going out there to encourage people to continue to stand in line and cast their vote. So they were passing out water and snacks and, whatever have you. And Kemp didn't like that. And apparently neither did my state senator. So they passed the Election Integrity Act. And they have done several things with that act. It allows the state to investigate and temporarily suspend election officials under certain conditions.
Right.
It shortened the time between the general election and the runoff. So they were going out of their way to make it harder and more inconvenient for people to vote. So here's the other thing that I don't know if you guys know. They just passed, it started out as a food truck bill, right?
Okay.
And it was supposed to it was like a regulatory bill to make, because I think at the time, all the counties who, they operated differently. They had different rules and regulations for the food trucks in their county. So this bill was supposed to put everybody on one accord throughout the state. So they kept amending it, right? And they finally got to the point to where it became a voting bill. Now, how do you get to a voting bill from a food truck bill? So it basically removes party affiliation from certain roles in 5 counties, but it's the 5 Black counties, and it's the 5 counties that are run by Black women, not the whole state, but just these 5 counties. So it's Fulton County, Clayton County, Gwinnett County, Cobb County, and DeKalb County.
Okay.
Those are Democratic strongholds. So if you're removing party affiliation from these particular roles, then, and not doing it for the rest of the state, you want people to vote on name recognition. Well, if you're pouring more money into an election and you have more signs in the community saying John Doe, and whoever is running as a Democrat can't afford 3,000 signs with their name on it throughout those counties, who do you think is going to win?
Gotcha.
because the reality is people vote by name recognition. Smarter people, I don't want to say smarter, wiser people, more wise people, they'll research the candidates and really be involved. But most people are like, okay, I saw her name or his name, so I'm going to check the box for this person.
Wow.
So these things have been going on for years. And we are just catching up with Trump's second term.
Question: what would you think the biggest misconception that people have about running for office?
Oh my God, how much it costs to run. It is so expensive to run.
I bet.
And fundraise, and even people don't think that those emails or text messages cost money. They are freaking expensive.
Wow.
Yeah, they're expensive. So if you're getting 5,000 text messages, please know they spent a lot of money.
Well, ignore those no more.
Yeah, it's expensive. The signage is expensive to get, maybe 200 signs to cover a district. You're spending like $1,700. And people don't realize that, so it's very expensive to run. And you really put yourself out there because they get in your business. You have to submit financial reports, the election integrity with the state. You have to file everything with the state.
Like you got like your social medias and all that?
Yeah, you put your social media out there, but you have to do a financial disclosure on your personal finances. They want to know what properties you own, the value of your property. They really get in your business. So I don't think people realize that either. So of course, when you're running, you have to, you don't want to use your personal address or your home address because there's some nuts out there and people will show up at your doorstep.
Yeah.
So you want to get a separate mailing address. You want to get a separate phone number, all the things. So like I said, it's very expensive to run. The other thing I don't think people realize is how much you have to talk to strangers because I'm an outgoing person.
It's a lot harder to be an introvert, right?
Yeah. And I'm an outgoing person and I'll say a few words to you, but like, hey, how you doing? Listen, I'm so-and-so, that like, God, dog, I got to speak again. And, you're telling the same speech over and over again because you want people to vote for you.
Right.
So I have a passion for it though, because I really care about people and I really care about my people. It's specifically, and what's going on now, it isn't just hurting Black folks. It is hurting poor people. When America gets a cold, Black Americans get the flu, 600,000, this is what experts are saying now, 600,000 Black women are unemployed after the DEI and affirmative action rollbacks, right? How does that impact households now? A lot of people are struggling. We're looking at gas prices. We're looking at food. We have food insecurities everywhere. Yeah. Look at your seniors, they're making the decision, do I buy my medication or do I buy food to eat tonight?
And that's big, right?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So we are in dire straits right now. And I kind of want to flip that. I think that now the government has become so corporate. These politicians have become very corporate and they focus more on corporate interest than they do the people. And my goal is to reverse that. My goal is to flip that because I'm a firm believer that if you are a tax-paying citizen, your taxes should work for you. You don't work for the government. You're not working to pay taxes to the government. If you're paying taxes, your government should work for you.
Right.
And so My goal is to change that, is to flip that mentality with voter education.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Hmm.
I was back in, and this is a different state, but I
Hmm.
see it happening more and more. I
Hmm.
was back in Tennessee during Mother's Day weekend, and I literally watched the lines get redrawn
Hmm.
in Tennessee as far as Republicans, Democrat areas.
Hmm.
What effect do you see that having if that was to happen in Georgia? Like how would that affect what you're trying to accomplish?
Well, they've already done it here
Right.
in Georgia. Republicans have been redistricting for years.
Okay.
You can take it back to 2013.
Right.
Um, they did something to the Voting Rights Act way back then. And don't quote me because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I remember the quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg because they were removing something from the Voting Rights Act. And her quote was, "You don't throw away the umbrella just because it's not raining." That happened in 2013 under Obama. And nobody thought that it would harm anything. And here we are. It just made it easier for them to gut the Voting Rights Act today. Okay. So that's what I mean, that this has been going on for years. Like they're playing chess and we're playing checkers. All right. So Georgia has been, like, for instance, Fayette County, they redrew the lines here back in, I think it was 2014. And so if you look at are you guys familiar with Fayetteville, my
Yeah,
ATL?
I am.
Okay. So you know that Fayetteville and South Fulton are not remotely close, right?
Right. Nowhere near close.
So why is my state representative, why does she have Fayetteville, like a little slither of Fayetteville, and then she's all Fulton County and South Fulton County?
Wow.
Okay.
And Fulton County is pretty big.
Right. And that is just the House district, right?
Right.
So when you come into this the Senate district, it doesn't want North Fayetteville, right? Which is northern part of Fayette County and Clayton County, right?
Gotcha.
They don't want that because it's majority Black. So what they did when they redrew the maps, they took southern Fayette County, which is southern Fayetteville, Tyrone, Peachtree City, which is where all the money is, and it's predominantly white. And then they took Spalding County, and we know that we aren't that close to Spalding County either.
No, we're not.
Right. Pike and Lamar counties, which are very rural and very red, right? So even if you do have a sprinkle of blue in southern Fayette County, you're not going to lose because you have Pike and Lamar counties that are very red, and Spalding County that is maybe 60% red. So that's how they drew the map. So when you weaken one group's voting power, even though people say, yeah, your vote counts, it does. It just weakens the power.
Gotcha.
So it makes it easier for someone who doesn't have your best interest at heart, or somebody you don't want representing you. It makes it easier for them to come into power.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is how the incumbent, his name is Marty Harbin, which is how why he's been in power for as long as he has.
Okay. Okay. What is something that you disagree with inside of your political party?
I know Michelle Obama says, when they go low, we go high. I don't believe in that philosophy. I believe you're in a street fight, and I'm, in the words of Cardi B, I'm taking it to hell where the lava is.
Yes.
Because
she said hell where the lava is.
Taking it to hell where the lava is. And seriously, I want the Democratic Party to engage in a street fight. The ongoing joke for many years has been the Democratic Party. They're the nerds. They're the party of the educated elite. All those things are kind of true. However,
Sandra, she said, she will take it there.
yeah. However, we need to, take the pocket protectors out and, put the bifocals down and the calculator down and, put on some gloves and take it to the streets. We have to, because if we don't, we're going to be clobbered and we can't be fearful. The other thing is we have a tendency of being politically correct and to the point of not being authentic, right? I think we need to be more authentic, and we need to start calling a thing a thing. A lot of this stuff is an attack on Black Americans, and it's flat out racist, and it's retaliatory. Donald Trump hates women, Black, white, red, green. He hates women, but he especially hates Black women because 92% of us did not vote for him. Okay. Donald Trump is a racist. He is a raging racist, which is why, and I'll never understand the Tim Scotts of the world. He won't promote any of them beyond a minion. You see what I'm saying? So we need to call that out. We need to call it what it is. We can't say, well, the American people were just tired of the everyday politics and he's a straight talking person. No, he gave people the green light to be as racist as they want to be.
He really did. He really did.
Yeah.
Like you can see he's not straight talking by no means. Like he does not straight talk.
He does not by no means. And we need to start calling a thing a thing. And I always say this man and his minions are running the country like Death Row Records. He is hanging us over the
Death Row Records is crazy.
Man, yes, that's an analogy for you right there.
Yes, he is literally. He thinks he's Don Corleone, and this is some mob movie. He's living out his mobster fantasy. And the other thing is because they don't want to offend religious folks. I'm religious folks. I am a follower of Christ. I don't even feel comfortable saying Christian anymore because of what they have done to how they have just really destroyed what like you just really destroyed that. So I am a follower of Christ and my faith is strong. And how I was saying, what they're doing is not Christ-like whatsoever.
He is a thing.
And you know what's funny? You say that. Like I'm sorry to digress, but you say that, but it's like the Republican Party was known to be the Christian party, the Christianity
family
party.
Values.
Yes, they was known, and now here they are.
Well, that was even then. That was a facade because you had all those people saying, "Yeah, I'm the family values person," and then you see that they're on Grindr or they have these outside children like Strom Thurmond. I will never forget that because again, that happened in my lifetime. Right. He was a staunch. I'm a Christian. He was a racist. He was a segregationist and had a whole Black baby that he was paying tuition for. To go to college.
Hey.
So
we kingdom people.
Yeah. So and I also believe that there should be a separation of church and state. And that is something that they are just battling to make this a Christian nation. The reality is the United States does not have an official language. The United States does not have an official religion, and that's what the forefathers wanted. The reason they formed this nation was that because they wanted freedom. They were leaving, England and the Queen, and they didn't want all of those stipulations. So, because I know that, and I studied history and civics, I know that we will never have an official language. I know that we will never have an official religion, and I know that we won't have a king. Which is why this midterm these are the things that we don't want, and we're trying to save democracy. This is the election. This is the one that's super important because Trump wants to be here, another 4 years.
forever.
Yeah, he's actually trying to change the law right now to make it
Yeah.
where he can go
Run a
another, he
third
can go another third term. But he
Yeah.
made sure to say that couldn't nobody else do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
can't know the president that ran two,
Mm-hmm.
they can't come back for a third term. Only he can do it because he's currently
Mm-hmm.
running because
Mm-hmm.
he had a gap year.
Never, ever, never, ever.
Yeah,
Never.
he doesn't want to leave. And this is not a kingdom, you know. We are a democracy. He wants an autocracy. So, and this is the other thing, and I've said this to people also. I have been a lifelong Democrat, right? However, this is the first time in my lifetime that I said, my God, I wish we had George Bush in office other than Trump. And that sounds
Man,
crazy. But
man,
let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Which Bush? The first one or the second one?
First or second? Heck, the
Okay.
fifth. Bring
Look.
Bush's nephew back. I don't know. But I'm just saying, the reason I say that is because even though I hated their policies, right?
Mhm.
I knew they loved America and they would not commit treason. They
Correct.
would not put us in certain dangers, right? They weren't
Yeah.
trying to destroy America or the American people. Again, I did not agree with their policies. However, that was the one saving grace. That is not the case with Trump. He does not love America. He loves
No.
money. He
Look
loves
himself.
power,
Yeah.
and he wants to cozy up to our enemies. And that is the issue that I have. And we should all be afraid. Like, that is reason enough to be afraid. He's
Right.
building a bunker. He wants to be Hitler. He's building a bunker at the White House under that ballroom that he just has to have. Why? That's the question that we should be asking. Why? One, why did we need the ballroom? Two, why do we need the bunker? We also need to ask, this people are calling it reparations at $1.8 billion.
For
Right.
for the January 6th
January
rising.
6th people.
Yeah.
That is not reparations. That is incentive to do it again in 2028 if he does
Yeah.
not win. If the
Right.
election does not go in his favor, that is incentive for them to cut the fool again.
Yeah.
So I just want us to be educated voters. I want us to really be locked in, especially in these state and local elections, because we really set the tempo.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What is the hardest part about trying to lead people? You think
Oh,
today?
a lot of people don't want to listen because they've been screwed over.
Right.
You know, that betrayal trauma is something else. I trusted you. I believed in you. And it buyer's remorse. I'll take it back to Trump. A lot of people bought into what he was selling, and now their retirements are not what they were.
Nope.
They can't afford gas. They can't afford groceries. They're throwing up data centers everywhere. And that is bringing the property value down, is messing with the environment and raising their utility costs and their water costs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everything he has promised them, he's reneged on.
Wolf tickets.
Wolf tickets. So now that you're there, and now that you're in that space, people are angry and they don't trust politicians. So that's the hard part, convincing people that you are trying to work for them.
Right. So
And you have to also let them know, one of the things that I've learned over the years, just life experience, you have to be able to see the humanity in people. Like, I'm regular folk, and I tell people that, you know, all the time. I have, child, if you knew some of the jobs I've had from the time I was working, you know, and just I have friends and family from all walks of life, literally. And,
right.
you know, you just have to be able to see the humanity in people, because at the end of the day, regardless of your party affiliation or your race, sexual orientation, marital status, whatever. We all want the same things.
Yep.
We want happy, healthy life, be able to afford to live. We want our children to do well. We want our families to do well. Like, we all have the same goals. So that's what we need to focus on. And I'm going to say this again, we have the power. The power is with the people. It's more of us than it is them. And we have to remember that it's more of us than it is them. That 1%, they don't care about us. The reason it's the 1% is because they don't want a 2%.
They don't want to get the percentage too high.
Right. So we have to fight for us.
Right. So I got a question for you. I want to go back just a little bit to what you said previously about people are now want to return their car to a dealership because it ain't working right. What about the ones who are still pro everything he's saying, even though they see how bad it is, but they still think that it could work some way out? So what do you say to people who because like you're running this race in a very red state, as we know, and you got the ones who are die hard, like, oh, he can't do no wrong. They see how bad. What do you say to people like that? Like, what do you even?
I say if they're digging their heels in, baby, everybody can't go. You'll catch up. And that's just the truth.
Right.
Everybody can't go. I pray for you. This is the information. I want people.
Yes, she won. That is what I said.
This is the thing. I want people to not vote emotionally. And I'm going to use one of my siblings as an example, right? So I have a sibling who has a child that is special needs, right? He has a son that's special needs. And he is very Christian, very, and just full disclosure, I tell, most people who know me personally know I was raised sanctified. I was raised Pentecostal, no pants, no makeup, no jewelry, in
church at 2 a.m.
Yeah, in church, all week.
No gum.
Start at 9 a.m. Got at 2 p.m. Go back for 7 p.m.
Right.
So, YPWW.
Right. So I was raised sanctified, but when I became a teenager, my mom allowed me to go to church with my paternal grandmother, who was Baptist, and so I am Baptist. All right. So because I grew up in church and I know the word, right? My brother also grew up in church, and he didn't have the luxury of going to church with my grandmother. Okay. He stayed within the Pentecostal faith. So he is very sanctified. He voted for Trump. And I said, are you nuts? Why would you vote for Trump? Have you lost your mind? And his thing was, I don't like transgender people. And that goes against my faith. Okay. And I said, so you voted against your son's rights. They got rid of DEI and affirmative action. Transgender people are less than 1% of the population. You're not going to find them unless they're looking for you. And then if you find them, you don't even know.
You sure don't.
You won't even know.
Especially down here.
You allowed this person to tap into your irrational fear. And they're doing it by using religion. Instead of telling you to vote your interest, you're voting against your irrational fears. So now that those services are going away, what happens to kids who need those services?
Yes.
So I want us to vote for the things that we actually need, the things that are actually impacting our lives, because in my opinion, that's not impacting your everyday life. You have the absolute right to disagree with whatever. But what you don't do is vote against your interest. And that's where I want us to get. That's where I want us to go.
Right.
Something that you was saying earlier, I know you say you grew up sanctified.
Mm-hmm.
How important is it to? Well, let me ask you like this:
Mm-hmm.
do you add your beliefs and everything into your speech, and do you let people know that this is the life that I live within the realms of what you're talking about and what you're running for?
I typically don't. I typically stick with the issues. It's no secret that I am Christian. I let my light shine through my actions, right? I don't mistreat anybody. I want people treated fairly, but I firmly believe in separating church and state, because we don't all, even if we are of the same faith, we're not going to believe the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are some things you may agree with me on, and there may be some things you disagree with me on. But I don't care about that when in legislation. Like, I don't care about that. If you are paying taxes, you are entitled, in my opinion, to all the rights and privileges of everybody else. That is my thing. If you're a tax-paying citizen, live your life. You're not harming anybody. Live your life. Because again, we're more alike than we're different. We all want the same things.
Right.
Gotcha.
Do you think when COVID hit and it started to change state and church, where the state was able to involve themselves now with how church stayed open, do you think that was like the opening, like the back door to try to make that come together?
No. And you want me to tell you why? I'll tell you this. I believe COVID was really unexpected, right?
Right.
I think that Trump got into that position and he was unprepared. He didn't know what to expect. He just wanted to undo everything Obama did without taking into consideration why Obama did the things that he did. I just want to undo everything this Black man did simply because he's Black. He's obsessed with Obama. And I'm just calling the thing a thing, right? So when they got rid of the extra layer of protection with the CDC, that's how COVID was able to come to this country and run rampant, right? Where I think they were able to bring in church and state was, one, I believe they have been studying Black Americans for a very long time, and they know that we are very, like, for the majority of us, we are very strong in our faith. And I know that I can manipulate that, right? Because, you know, I can make it sound good. So I can attack Black people in this regard. And then rural white communities, most of the time, they are also very Christian, evangelical, especially in the Bible Belt in the South. I can tap into that. All I got to do is say Jesus, you know,
or go visit a church.
Or go visit the church. Yeah. And I'm locked in. Trump doesn't even know how to hold the Bible. He was holding it upside down.
That part. That's
about 2 Corinthians, you know. But that's how they're able to do it because they've studied us. They know what's important to us. Let me tell you, and this is just me being candid. This isn't political, Sonia. This is just me being candid and have lived a little bit of life. These red pill podcasts, these culture wars between the diaspora, the African diaspora, Black Americans against Africans and against Caribbeans, and all of that, they've studied all of that. And so they're adding fuel to that. And again, they're tapping into your irrational fears. They're tapping into the things that are near and dear to your heart that Black people discuss in closed company, in closed doors. I call it kitchen table talk, that has now gone on to the internet. And they're able to play into that because they have studied us. And we just have to be smarter than that. We can't fall into those traps because the reality is we need each other. You got Black folks and Latina folks fighting each other, calling names. You have Arabs and Palestinians and Jewish communities. Like, everybody is at odds. And it's all by design.
All by design.
So we have to be wiser. Again, it's more of us than it is them. So we all need to band together and work together.
Right.
I got a question.
Personal philosophy.
I got a question. I've been looking at this and it just touches my heart. Are you a Cowboy fan?
No.
No, my
we
husband
said at the beginning, bear down.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. You have an amazing husband.
He would love to hear that.
not in the sports world, but
no.
Can't speak outside of that.
Yes.
So,
but
let me ask you a question. Back to the political side of this conversation. Willie.
Yes.
Being a Black female in this race, well, not just in politics, what has been some of the hardest things you've dealt with and made you want to, like, even though it was hard, what was the hardest thing you dealt with, and what made you keep pushing through those things without giving up?
The uncertainty, right? So I always say this race has stretched me beyond my comfort zone. I'd gotten comfortable, full disclosure. I've been a serial entrepreneur. In the last 15 years, I've had 3 different businesses. I also work in the finance world. I pick up contracts every now and then, but my main job was really raising my children. My husband's ex-military, and then he retired from the DLJ last year. So I traveled around with him, and then we finally settled in Georgia 26 years ago. So my eldest is 27. He is an engineer, data scientist. And my youngest is just turned 18 in February, and she graduated last Friday. So she'll be leaving to go to college.
Big up.
Thank you. So
when you say data scientist, is he familiar with like software engineering? Is that kind of along the same lines?
Yes, he's an engineer by trade.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So my job has really been close to home.
Okay.
Making sure that the kids are okay, and they have the things that they need. So me, and I forgot the question because I started, y'all asked me something else in the middle, but that has been my main job. Oh, you asked me what was difficult. So this has stretched me beyond my comfort zone, right? Mm-hmm. I am communicative. I am in the community doing, different things. But going out to different communities and interacting with different people, and, searching, listening to their needs and the things that they want. I wouldn't say it was difficult, but it gave me a different perspective.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice. If George Bush said or done anything that Trump had, he would have been impeached immediately.
Immediately.
So would Clinton.
Yeah,
Clinton got impeached immediately too.
Yeah. Like, listen, Trump has broken all the rules, right? So I remember being in the 8th grade and they gave like the definition or the qualifications to be president. They were like, white, Anglo-Saxon, male, Protestant. Like they gave this whole, long list of things, right? Qualifications, your age qualifications, whatever. And back then it was very, of course it was whitewashed because we hadn't had a black president yet, but it was very sanitized and like tied neatly in a bow of what your president should be.
Right.
Even though the Kennedys were Catholic, that was like a huge deal, when they came into power, right? Trump has done everything opposite of that. When you look at the Bush legacy, they were ex-military. They had run successful businesses. They were really a dynasty, right? The wife was educated and, you had all these things. Now, Ronald Reagan was a clown, but that's different. You look at Bill Clinton, he and Hillary Clinton, they were polished. They checked all the boxes, educated. He was governor. He, had done all these things. Hillary was a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. Same with Obama. He came up out the mud. Him and Michelle got married and they ascended to the highest office in the land. And then we get Trump, a failed businessman with 3 baby mamas, three wives, cheated on every single wife he ever had. Like he was just everything that was not part of the description. He ain't even Protestant.
Right.
So Nixon was a better president and he was horrible. So Trump, we have given him leeway. And I don't know why or what the fascination is. I always used to make a joke that we live in a time of everybody gets surprised and live in a time where we fight for the underdog, no matter how terrible the underdog is. We just don't want to see somebody who worked hard really win. We're going to root for the guy who just stumbled into whatever. So yeah, I don't know what the fascination is with him because he's a doofus. That's the only word I have for it. He's a doofus.
I wasn't ready for that word. I wasn't ready. Doofus. Doofus. Just a doofus.
Straight
He's
doofus.
just a doofus. And this
I
is who
approve that name.
Hey, I second that. Doofus.
Yeah.
All right, so I got 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Willie's gonna got one more. We're gonna get ready to wrap this up. But
Okay.
one, what do you want your legacy to be upon winning this?
Mm-hmm.
After you win, we're gonna go ahead and speak it now.
All right, in Jesus' name.
We're gonna speak it now. What do you want your legacy to be with this win going forward?
I want people to know that I am going to fight for them when they say Sonia Wimberly Hawkins was my state senator. I want them to be able to say, I loved her because I knew she called me back when I called her.
Okay.
She was in the community doing town halls, listening to us and fighting to get the things that we need.
Right.
That's what I want my legacy to be. Somebody who worked hard for the people, somebody who was not a corporate Democrat, somebody who really cares about what happens in the community. Because here's the thing, right? Look at the early voting statistics.
Right.
Less than 5% of the people who voted were in that 18 to 29 age group.
Right.
Less than 5%. The people who were voting were the 65 plus. That was like 70% or 60%.
Right.
In the middle was Gen X, the 50 plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the person that helps get young voters engaged in what's going on and involved and meeting them where they are. I want that to be my legacy. She cared about the next generation and she did everything in her power to leave us in a better position.
Right.
That is my goal.
Okay. Second question for me, my last one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in your backyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do? What can I do? Or how can we get involved to help you get this thing over the finish line?
Yes.
Well,
other than voting.
That's the first thing. You can vote. The other thing is you can bring 5 of your friends and get them to vote. Even bigger, get people to register to vote.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing, because we have, when I looked at the data, we have like 2.2 million people who are left leaning or independent that are not registered to vote. That's huge. That is huge. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That is huge.
Yeah. So the other thing is, my campaign is not powered by corporate PACs. This is powered by fundraisers, and it's powered by Act Blue. So
we can go throw a party and raise some funds. Hell,
yes, I need.
Let's go throw a party, raise some funds.
Yes, I'm down for that.
Do it.
Yes, I'm serious. Let's do that. The other thing is, they can go, your listeners and your viewers can go to my Act Blue page. It's actblue.sonia.wimberly-1. So go to Act Blue, type in my name, Sonia Wimberly Hawkins, or you can just type in Sonia Wimberly and I'll come up and it'll show State Senate District 16, Georgia. And you guys can.
Already on.
All right. Thank you. You guys can go ahead and make donations because this stuff is expensive. And again, I had no idea when I jumped into the race. My husband is like, and how much are you putting into that campaign? So yeah. So you guys can help me out that way. And you can also spread the word, like on your social media, send it out. Hey, this is who's running in District 16. This is my choice. This is who you guys should be voting for. If you want her to come speak, I'll go speak and let them know who I am and what I stand for.
Gotcha.
But what I want us to do, last but not least, I want us to fight. Like, I don't want us to go down without a fight. I want us to show up at those zoning meetings, those town hall meetings, those board of electors meetings. Heck, go down to the Capitol and sit in there while they're in session. Be involved. Let your voice be heard. Make calls to your senator. Make calls to your representative.
Record.
Yeah. So that's what I want.
Okay, got you.
Mr. Ferocious, you got any questions before we give her the last question? You got any question to answer?
No questions. I've been sitting here just listening and admiring the journey here. I'll just throw in a statement here. I'll make sure to tell my family that's in Georgia to vote.
Thank you.
We got your back.
All right.
Yep.
And I just want to say before I close out, my priorities are simple. I want to protect voting rights. I want to strengthen public education. I want to improve maternal health. Georgia is ranked number 2 in maternal health deaths in the nation.
Damn.
And we had the nerve to sign the heartbeat bill, last year, a year before?
Last year.
Where 129 women died?
Yep.
And did not have to die?
There's a lot of issues out there in Georgia.
Yes. So, I want to support small businesses and get good paying jobs to come out to District 16. Yeah. And I just want to ensure that we have responsible.
She is the truth. I believe it.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Well, you know what? My last question, you answered it. I was going to ask you, give us 1 minute directly to the voters in your district. What would you say? But Look, you did it. Look, when
Yeah.
you're good, you're good.
Yes,
Thank
So
you guys.
please stay on with us after this. After we close out, please stay on with us for a few minutes. We got a few more things we want to ask
Sure.
you. And run
Okay.
So before we leave, first off, I want to say we are so humbled to have you on our platform. It is amazing to have you sharing with us as you go on this journey. And I just want to say this before we leave. Let God lead you in everything that you're doing right now. Continue to keep doing what you're doing. As long as you put God first, God is going to continue to bless you. He's going to uplift you, and you're going to do great things out there in Georgia. And I believe it. And I decree it right now in the name of Jesus that it is
In the name
done.
of Jesus. Amen.
It
Thank
is
you
done.
so much. Thank you so much.
So don't let this be the last time.
I
You
want
family.
you guys have me
Look,
back anytime.
We will
Look,
have you.
your cousin done already made a home here, so you family now. You family. You
Well,
family.
I
La
appreciate
familia.
And tell your husband he family.
it. All right, I got you.
I ain't even met him yet, but he family.
Thank you guys.
But like I said, the most expensive thing you can spend is time, and you spent it with us. We appreciate you. As always, stay blessed, and we'll see you next time.
See you
And
next
if you ain't got a good podcast, switch it up.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Bye, guys.
And vote.
stay on for a
Right
second.
now.
Okay.
Okay. Close us out, sir.
All right.
Script, just facts, no cap, just that. Whole team locked in, yeah. Remember that. Switch it up, yeah, we taking control. From the mic to the screen, yeah, we own this role. Every word, every bar, every story told. Switch it up, high tense, yeah, we break the mold.